facilitator can support the collective action of a group by tuning in with where the group is at. What is their passion? Is the purpose of why the group are together, is this clear? Is there a good container to support the group so that whatever is the action that people go on to do together, that they know where they can return to in terms of their nourishment and in terms of some kind of direction. Competences that would support this would include being flexible, being creative, being responsive, a good listener, and knowing when to lead and when to hand that leadership over to the group. But I think having faith in all the beings who are in the room is really important.
How might a facilitator support the collective actions of a group? I suppose this is an interesting question because a facilitator isn't of the group and yet has a kind of a role with the group. So really, I suppose it's important for the facilitator to carve out a relationship with participants of a group that is based in trust and also based in enabling. Not controlling, not trying to steer the group in a direction that they think is right, because these things can sometimes happen when we're there to support. So I think this relationship between a facilitator and a group, how the facilitator can work with the group, is actually, it's not a question that's easy to answer, but it requires continual reflection on the part of the facilitator in terms of their role and the extent to which they're effectively enabling the participation, involvement and continual movement of the group and providing something of value, adding value.
A generative group is one that is one in which the members feel nourished, the members feel like they can perform, but also the members feel like they can take time out to look after themselves if that's the action that's needed in that moment in time. With the changing world, and especially in the area of global citizenship, things are always changing, so we need to be preparing ourselves and preparing our groups for being able to navigate the constant changes and to be ready whenever an opportunity presents itself, that our collective action can have some kind of bigger impact.
Yeah, we think of generative maybe as being that capacity to reproduce, so being able to continually remake yourself and find meaning and direction in the work you do, and that's hard work, but it's fulfilling work, and it's the kind of work, or let's say practice, that enables a group not just to exist but to grow and to thrive, and for the people involved to grow and to thrive through their participation. At the same time, we can easily make claims to be part of a generative group, and I think the minute we say, oh, our group is generative and we have it sorted, is actually maybe the moment where you might have to find uncertainty again and say it's almost like the minute you're comfortable and feeling like the group is great is maybe the moment where you have to say, what questions do we have to ask ourselves? So I suppose a generative group is a group that's continually asking questions of itself and of its relationship to the people around it and to the social field in which it exists. Action. Again, there's no easy answers to these kinds of questions. And it depends on the context of the group and the scale at which it's working to, the resources it has at its disposal, the way it thinks about the issues that it wants to work on, and the way it moves in the world to address those issues. So it's not an easy question to ask or to answer. I suppose more questions come to mind than answers. But a sustainable group is a little bit like the generative group question. So it's a group that is not afraid to ask hard questions, and it's a group that has a well-developed culture of care embedded in it, so that if one is feeling low and feeling less motivated, because this happens, there's different moving parts within any entity, then the others in that moment know to lift that person. In another moment, another one may feel low, or motivation is low, or really angry. And anger is a really valid emotion, and it's one in which a lot of important stuff resides. So it's not something to be swept away, it's something to be really considered and embraced, particularly within this field of social justice and the struggle for more justice. So I think, going back to the question again, I think a sustainable action is one that is pursued, in this case by a group, a collective action, let's say. It's sustainable where there's a culture of care embedded within the entity, as well as a sense of direction. But this culture of collective care is important. And if we're able to attune ourselves to others and to lift others when they're down, or to not think about others' behavior as right or wrong, but to think about our responses to it, to that behavior, as the thing that maybe we could consider, and then come from a place of compassion and understanding and empathy. And if we can build those practices within collective actions and within the groups that are rolling with those collective actions, then we're doing something deeply, deeply important. And we will find the energy and momentum and motivation to keep going in spite of everything.